I want sugar here. Sugar.
It's a breeze.
Okay. Hello. Are we live? Okay. Hi guys. Today we are making literally a 4-ingredient dessert, which is really tasty and yummy. Okay. I love panna cotta, but I don't like the idea of using gelatin in my desserts, and so I've come up with something which requires you to use agar-agar. Now, if you've used agar-agar before, you'll realize that it takes agar-agar activates very differently from gelatin. Gelatin needs to be bloomed and melted at a low temperature and then mixed into something hot, whereas agar-agar needs actually to be boiled to activate it. Okay, so I love rose, so I'm using this ready to drink rose milk drink called bandung. Okay, try it out sometime, it's really delicious. But when I use bandung by itself to make a panna cotta, it's not sweet enough, especially when you chill it, it's just not sweet enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons, less or more up to your choice. Okay, about 3 tablespoons of sugar and this whole can of bandung. This can is about 300 ml. Okay, and I'm going to bring this to a gentle simmer here. In the meantime, what I have is I have my agar-agar soaked in water. Can you see what's happened here? Yeah. So this is the agar-agar sitting on one side. I'm going to add my half a cup of fresh cream to this. Now, panna cotta literally means cooked cream, but I think it's a little too rich to add all cream to a dish like a panna cotta. So I like thinning it down with some milk. So here we have half a cup of milk, and that lightens it up. And I'm going to add a little here just to take off all the cream. Now, depending on the kind of agar-agar you're using, you may need a little more or a little less. I've used about 1.5 teaspoons of this powdered agar-agar that you get very easily all over Singapore. So this is the packet. This is around 11 grams if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to wear my specs and check that out, but it's around 11 grams, I think, not very sure. Okay, but use about 1.5 teaspoons of agar-agar, and now I'm going to add it to the milk. You just need to activate it in either the same liquid that you are going to boil or hot water for the agar-agar to kind of begin its work. The other thing to keep in mind, because this is a mix of a very light milk and very little cream, the gelling strength of the agar-agar is able to take this quantity. If you're using something like a fruit pulp, you might need to go a little stronger on agar-agar. The good thing is that the moment this comes to a boil, you can actually pour it into something and test it out, because agar-agar starts to set the moment it cools. So you pour it into a small glass and keep it in something cold. Keep it in a larger container of ice, and if it sets immediately, then you know that your agar-agar is the right strength. If it doesn't set, the rest of your liquid is already in the saucepan. So all you need to do is to soak a little more agar-agar and bring everything to a boil, and that should be good enough. If you have any questions, feel free to ask later. I'll answer them. Okay. But basically, this is a little bit of a touch and go. It depends on what you use. If I were to use all cream, for example, I would probably need a little more agar-agar. Agar-agar also comes in different forms. You have this powder, which is actually very effective. You also have flakes, which I bought once in the US, which you need a lot more of to set the same quantity of liquid. And it also comes in the form of like a hard extruded gelatin like thing. Okay, so in that case you will have to either soak the entire thing and use the liquid, or probably powder that and then use it. So try it out and later let me know what works for you. So all those little lumps of agar-agar are now mixed in, and this milk is slowly coming to a boil. You can see little bubbles starting to form on the sides. Okay, this is now begin to come to a boil, and at this point I'm going to take this off the gas. I'm going to pour this into my Pyrex beaker. And then I'm going to pour these into So this is one of the quickest and easiest desserts. It's especially if you like rose. But you can also make it with other flavors, right? You can actually make it with fruit juices, you can make it with fruit purees, and so on. In half an hour, this dessert will be set and done. Now I'm going to show you what a set panna cotta looks like. And just give me a second. Can I have that? Here we have some beautiful panna cottas that are set in 2 layers like this or like this. Okay, so play around and do initially start with something like this, and then once you gain confidence you can play around and do things like this, where all you do is to set the panna cotta with half the quantity and keep it at a dip tilted angle. Once that sets, you pour in the next layer, slightly darker in color. Here I've used a beautiful Peruvian purple corn to color this part of the panna cotta. It's the same rose flavor, but Peruvian purple corn is sold by a company here called Purple Foods, and it's very high in antioxidants. So I decided to use this to make this two-toned panna cotta. I think it looks beautiful and it tastes wonderful as well. And here I have a spoon and I'm going to dig into this. You can see how firm the texture is. Mildly delicate. I love rose. So thank you for coming back. Thank you for watching this episode, and let me have your comments in the minutes to come. You can post your questions if you have any. Happy to answer them. And here, this one is yet to firm up, but it will, because you can see here already started to thicken. So see you next week with yet another big vlog. Thank you and bye.